welcome to my channel and welcome to my website. My name is Daryl and this is Programming in Any Language. The website is www.black-duck.com. It's where you'll find all my videos organized in logical order. You can begin with the basics and then move on to advanced concepts. You can also start with the speed track and build an application from scratch, which should pique your curiosity with a desire to learn more. It'll step you through it step by step, one step at a time. Value returning methods. So far, the methods we've created and used did some processing for us and then politely ended. It's nice of them. We continued on our merry way with code that followed our calling statement. It's true that some of these methods did calculations for us, but the results were placed typically in a global variable. No more. Value returning methods allow us to return a value to a method in the calling module. We will bypass global variables entirely. This sounds kind of complicated. Actually, it's really not. Think of it this way. When we create variables, we typically give them a name, and we can easily place an equal sign after the name and then add the value. Well, that value could instead be a call to a method. In other words, instead of the value, it's a call. Maybe it's better if we see this. That might clear it up a little bit better. Let's take a look at this video. Okay, we're going to get rid of the global variables in this next process and examine how value returning methods work. Value returning method is a method that returns a value to the part of the program that called it. A value returning method is like a void method in the following ways. It contains a group of statements that performs a specific task. So you see that this is all the same process. When you want to execute a method, you simply call it. So no differences there. The .NET framework provides many value returning methods. For example, you've been using these things already. The int.parse method accepts a string and returns an int value. And you use that right in here, where you actually put in a 100, or something comes in from a text box or whatever, and you int.parse the method, and you end up with a numeric value, an integer, basically. Same thing with double.parse, string, toString, that method, those kinds of things. They're all there. They're all value returning methods that return. But now we're going to be able to create our own things that we can use. So let's take a look at this. In C#, there's a generic format for writing a value returning function is access, then a data modifier, the method name, and parameter list. You've seen that before. And you got a bunch of statements in there and a return expression. And look at the expression piece on the return statement. The access modifier is either public or private. The data type is basically int, double, decimal, string, bool, whatever you tend to return the value. In fact, it's going to be the same data type as the variable you're going to be assigning this method to. The method name, the identifier of the method, must be unique in the program. And a parameter list, an optional list of parameters. You have the two parentheses there. You may have something in there, you may not. In all likelihood, you probably will, because you're passing something to a method. It'll do some calculations on it and send back an answer. The expression can be any value, variable, or expression that has a value. Let's take a look at Retail Price Calculator 3. We're going to make some changes in the program. Not much. But you can take a look right now. We've got the same program we've used before. We're getting the wholesale cost and the markup percent. We're checking for errors, giving an error message, returning back. We've got to calculate retail, which is going to go off and take those things off to a method that's going to do the calculation of wholesale cost and wholesale cost times the markup percent. And then divide that by 100, and you get the answer, and it returns it back. Now, this is where the difference is. We have no global variables whatsoever, none. We eliminate that completely. We do have 3 variables in the button event area. We have the double wholesale cost and the double markup percent, which we've had before. The double retail price is getting moved down to there, and it's going to be what we're going to be sending back from the method. The value of the double retail price is going to come back from the method. In the method variables, they got DBL-WC, DBL-MP, and DBL-RP. So we've named some variables here as well that are going to take place when we start passing information to it. So how do we do all this? Well, it's going to be basic. We're passing the 2 parameters here, but we're also going to make the retail price equal to this method. So then when it returns the value, it becomes filled inside that method. We'll see this through debugger. We'll watch how this actually happens. So let's go ahead and look at this code. Here's our retail price calculator. And this is actually the way it looked the last time we ran it in the passing parameters video that we did. We're not going to change anything, except we're going to take that and we're going to update this a little bit. Remember, we had this. We marked out the W wholesale price and moved them down onto the button method. We're going to take that double retail price route and do the same thing. We're going to grab this thing. So I'm going to actually go ahead and comment these. Oops, wrong guys. And comment this out. And then I'm going to go down to my method that I've got down here, which we're using all along. This whole thing right in here is going to be our method that we actually do things. Notice we have an error in DBL retail price right now. We have that because we commented out the global variable. That's okay. We're going to do something about this. We went through the process of the double wholesale cost, the markup percent. We ended up getting those things and everything. And so when we got down there, we did a calculate retail, and we passed those two parameters to it. We're going to do something a little bit different this time. We're going to go here, and we're going to say double space DBL retail price is equal to this method. So we're going to pass it the wholesale cost and the markup percent. So we're going to create the variable. We're going to establish the variable here inside our button routine, but we're going to make it equal not to a value but to a method, which is going to return a value. So this will actually become the value that's returned here. We still have an error. We still have an error because we have to go down to our method and make some adjustments there. Here's our calculate retail. It's looking for the WC and the MP, which we're sending it, but we have a problem here in DBL retail price. What the heck is that? Is what it's saying. What's happening here is we actually have to establish a variable here now, and we can call it anything we want. We'll say, DOUBLE double DBL retail price, and this will be defining defines output variable. Now we're going to take this DBLRP and put it right in here and do that calculation. DBLRP is going to be equal to that. So that does that. However, what we want to do is now this is going to do us much good. It's going to actually do the calculation for this guy, but we want to return it. So we'll go to our return statement and we'll simply put a parameter on it and say DBLRP. That's the guy we're going to return. And I have an error here, DBLRP. Why do I have the error? Return DBLRP. The reason for it is we got the void here. The void is an error. We need to tell it the data type we're going to be using here. That's going to be a double. So we need to say double up in here. And now it's all happy. So we're returning a double called DBLRP and making that work. Now our program looks different, but it's going to operate the same. We have no variables up here in the global area. Our only change here is we added the DBL retail price here. We actually established it here as a double and made it equal to the method we're calling. And we've got our method down here that is actually assigned, instead of void, we finally now see the double. You can see we're actually using a data type of the kind we're going to return. So let's go ahead and save this. And let's run it. And I believe we used 100 last time. And I think we used 5% and did a calculate. And 105. No difference. This thing looks exactly the way the last two look. There's no difference to the user whatsoever. The difference is for us is we're not using global variables. We're using a variable within the button event. We're passing it to a method that then does the calculation and returns the value to the calling method, the calling event. Let's take a look at that in debugger. I'm going to go ahead and take the button click event and put a bullet point or a breakpoint in there. And we'll do a run again. So when I do this, I put in my 100, and I'll put in my 5, and I'll go ahead and calculate retail. Program stops. Let's go ahead and do a watch list on these things. So we're going to grab our double wholesale cost and we'll add a watch to it. Now bring them down so we can actually follow them. So as you can see, our program is running. We've got a DBL retail price up here, which has not been established yet. We haven't gotten down to this point to establish it, so it's showing us an error. That has W retail cost and markup percent are here because we actually did that. So we'll go ahead and we'll do our F11. We'll step through this program a little bit. We have 100 in here. It took that in nicely. We'll go down here a little bit further, and we got a 5 coming in place, so that's good to see. So it accepted the 2 text boxes that we established up in here. Now we're going to go down here and we're going to do a compare cost. We're looking at the 100 and the 5 to make sure they're both greater than 0. They of course are. So we then go down to our double, and as soon as we do this, we've actually established the DBL retail price. It's got 0 in it right now, but we've established the variable. So now it exists. So now we can actually press F11 and call the method, which is going to pass the 100 and the 5 to the method. So we'll click F11. Down we go. Here's our 100, here's our 5, and now you can actually see it here in our watch list. 100 came into the WC and the MP has 5. And now we'll step through this thing. We established this DBL RP. We don't have that in here. So let's go ahead and add that as a watch. And now it's in there, and you can see it has 0 in it now because it hasn't calculated anything. Nothing retail price here, nothing in DBL retail price. I hit the calculate button, and we now have 105 in here. So it did calculate DBL RP as 105, but it's not in the retail price yet because we haven't returned it. We're going to return that now, and that's going to put it back up into the calling program. We hit return, come out. It goes up to where we were in our try parse, or in this double retail price. As soon as we click off it with an F11, it's going to establish this. I'll hit F11, and bang, there's our 105. So it now has that value. Return to it from the calling method. Go ahead and do the retail price. We'll step through the rest of these things if we didn't have any errors, and up comes our program, and there's our 105. So again, this is very straightforward, very simple. It's not bad at all. All we're doing is removing global variables and assigning our variables within the method and letting them, or within the event, and letting a method then assign the value to it. That's it. Well, that certainly does take much of the mystery out of it. Instead of assigning a value to a variable, we assign a method and pass it parameters that it needs. The method, no longer a void method, we made that mistake. It calculates and returns the value to the variable. Pretty neat. We may have to work through a few of these to make sure we've got it, but it's really nice. It does take some time to get used to it. Next, we're going to look at something totally different. Well, a little bit different. Instead of passing values to a method, we are going to pass memory locations to a method. Memory locations? In essence, we'll be giving the method the keys to a variable, allowing it to make changes to data in the calling program. I'll be honest, it took me quite a while to wrap my head around this concept. In fact, I learned this concept back when I was learning how to program in Pascal, a language I don't want to remember. I'll tell you more when we get there. I'll see you in the next video. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to use the website for easy access to all my videos. If you get a chance, please subscribe. That way you'll be notified when something new is available. Well, I'll see you in the next video. Take care.